I wanted to get in drag because I was so desperate to be in show business. And I thought getting in a dress would be a way to get attention, you see. And it has. Plenty of attention.
Obviously, I do drag because it's something very personal, and it's something very deep that I don't want to know why. But
I think it's genetic.
It
I told
is.
you that the other day.
What, wearing glasses?
That I think the desire to perform is genetic, and the desire to be a drag performer is genetic also.
An addiction to Maybelline mascara?
Yes, I think there's a gene for liking Judy Garland and a gene for liking Joan Crawford gene, and you've got both of them.
In spades.
I grew up watching old movies on TV, and I was just addicted to all the old Warner Brother MGM films. And I think, you know, by the time I was 9, I could recite the entire filmography of Ida Lupino.
Yeah. This launched me on a lifelong study of fascinating ladies. Like so many other people, I worshipped Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn, so whimsical and yet full of pluck. I was convinced I looked just like her. A boy of 11. I remember I'd say to my teacher at school, I couldn't possibly hand in that book report today because I find the call of the wild too dreary for words. When I got home, I would pretend that my glass of milk was straight gin. I tried to swig it like Susan Hayward in one of her great alcoholic roles. Now, my big interest back then were two things. I loved fairy tales, and I loved 1940s women's pictures like Mildred Pierce. But sometimes I would get the women's pictures and the fairy tales kind of jumbled up, with very peculiar results indeed.
Somehow I was so connected to that kind of style that I've always said that, you know, I don't want to be a woman, I want to be an actress.
Yes, officer. I killed my stepdaughter. And I'd do it again 1,000 times. She dropped a mink coat to the ground and stood there in her soiled bra and panties and garter belt, reeking of sex, taunting me, mocking me, boasting of attending an orgy in the woods of 7 dwarves. I drew myself up and finally uttered those words I vowed I would never say. Cinderella, get out!
My weirdness is that I love being the great lady who actually came up from dirt. You know, and when it comes down to it, whether in one of my plays, whether she's fighting the Nazis, when it comes down to it, she, you know, she has her proletarian side, and she'll get the best of anyone.
I've just auctioned a new book on an old subject. It's the story of Sappho. I play Sappho, a noble Greek woman, vibrant, passionate, a sexual revolutionary. And you, my fair one, you shall play her lesbian lover, Rusty.
Rusty?
Yes, I can see the queen. Sappho flips her arm around.
I've always thought that the story of how we did Vampire Lesbians of Sodom was kind of a cross between 42nd Street and Brigadoon, and a miracle. We put on this play for $36.12. Just to put on a play to have fun, and I wanted to be the leading lady. And so I wrote the part of this glamorous vampirist. And I just cast 6 of my best friends, and we all had a hell of a time. We had so much fun, and it took off.
You're a vampire!
I suppose you're the handkerchief.
She-devil! Fiend! You killed my Renee!
So come to. So let's say taking the room off the police.
I was raised by my aunt, who was a fascinating lady. I think maybe somehow I got her mixed up with the movie actresses too, and it became this very indelible impression on me. You know, maybe that's just pocket analysis, but for some reason, playing a female character is the best way to express myself.
Now, for those of you who have never seen me before, I'm not a woman. I merely play one on stage. I have been called many things. Among them, female impersonator. But you should know that the politically correct term nowadays for a female impersonator is gender illusionist.
Gender illusionist is too many syllables, and female impersonator sounds so old-fashioned,
Yeah.
and transvestite sounds too clinical. I prefer drag performer.
Drag star.
Drag star, drag artist.
Drag diva.
Lypsinka is my rage at growing up in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, where I was told, you know, don't be who you are. Don't be a show-off. Don't be effeminate. I remember when I was a little boy, the movie Gypsy came out. I got to see the movie, and then when I got home, I wanted to act like Natalie Wood, and I was spanked for it.
My way of living, and that ain't enough. Then watch the way I'm gonna strut my pretty stuff, 'cause nobody wants you when you're old and gray.
It was my first show in college. I was in a show called Once Upon a Mattress, and I played Sir Studley, casting against type, if you will. And I got laughs, and I was addicted. I think people are often disappointed when they meet me after seeing Lypsinka on stage. Because she's like this firebrand, this red-headed monster on stage. How could I possibly be? How could I be like that all the time and do what I have to do? I'm not afraid of gender, and people who are so caught up in gender problems, they're the ones with the problems, not me. If you could just let go of that, if everyone could just let go of this male-female thing, everyone would be so much happier.
I got some scroogeally music. I got some funky music. Get down inside of me.
The fact that drag has become so mainstream, it sort of forces the true drag performer to be more experimental. It's not such a big deal. Oh, so he's up there wearing a dress. No. You know, now you gotta, like, what are you gonna do?